never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
All right, so we're back on here, Morgan.
Yeah, we're here. We're down a man, though.
We are down a man. How are we going to do this? Well, last week it was just him. So he carried the water by himself.
That was a little bit odd.
That was. Well,
but we were so busy.
Hey, he's a busy guy. You guys got a lot going on.
Well, yeah. Didn't you do a bunch of stuff for Labor Day?
Oh my gosh, yes. It was. I had to run back up to Lynch. I had a bunch of stuff going on up there too.
What'd you have?
We have a property here, a property there, a cabin everywhere else, and also had to run up to Cedar Valley, check on my dog.
Okay.
That's how Mark likes to do it. You check in every so often with the dog, and then you get to do some of the things that he's learning with him.
Okay.
And then so it's not just all a new thing when you come back.
Right.
So it makes a lot of sense. I probably didn't explain it very well there, but
No, you can explain it a little bit more.
Yeah. So, we got an expert here with us.
I know.
We do.
I know.
We have one heck of a guest here. So
I know. Ben was saying that he wished he could be here. So sorry, but he's in the fields with farmers, trying to get their combines going before harvest and getting them some more power. So.
And for folks that don't know, on the farm focus side, this is a really busy time for you guys.
It's crazy.
And it's not just the apparel and the clothing stuff, which you guys are always swamped with that.
Yeah.
But the diesel tuning.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben's been doing this for a number of years, so he's just growing and growing that side of the business. And harvest is around the corner.
Yep.
So he's getting calls from everywhere to go tune up some of these diesel engines.
I got a couple calls that rang through the shop, and then that means that his phone was busy. Then it pushed through here. So he's really busy, hands on. So anyways.
Yep. So that's what Ben's doing. He's staying busy on the diesel tuning
We can
side.
handle this without him. We actually don't need him.
I think so. Well, I don't want to say that.
I mean, he just normally turns the gears and
hits a couple buttons.
You do all the editing.
Right. Yeah. That's where the talent is. No, I'm kidding. But let's introduce our guest here.
Yes. Tell me who you have here.
Jordan Heiderman. Jordan, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Now, am I saying that correctly? I always get kind of nervous, especially with my name being Klassen, people saying Clausen or Clayson. And I just don't even, it doesn't faze me anymore. I'm just like, whatever you're comfortable with, and saying I don't like correcting people.
Right. Well, that's the same with our last name.
So is it Heiderman? I've heard everything.
Yeah, same here. I don't really care how you say it, but Heiderman, yeah.
Heiderman?
Heiderman.
All right.
Okay.
So I first became aware of Jordan. I cover high school sports quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I can remember everyone saying, there's this kid in Norfolk. He's a monster.
Like they said this years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
Okay.
A few years ago.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Long
No,
ago.
you're not that old. You're talking to some old people
young
here.
Man. But Jordan was a heck of a wrestler, and then you could argue maybe even a better football player. And then, you run your course, you go through college and all that stuff. And then he came back up again. Jared and I talk a lot about mixed martial arts and UFC and all that.
Right.
And, where I was taking Kylo to get trained, Mark Christensen, the owner's like, well, hey, this guy's going to be, he's going to be in a big fight here at Madison Square Garden coming up. I said, what are you talking about? He's like,
You're like,
Jordan
wait,
Heiderman.
this guy right here?
Yeah, I'm like, whoa. So, Jordan, could you kind of tell us a little bit about, start with your high school days there at Norfolk Public, right? You were a Panther. Yep. And then, you were a wrestler, but you played football. I assume you did track too.
No, I did not do track, but, definitely competed in, football and wrestling. And I loved them both. And I knew I was going to do one or the other in college. Mm-hmm. And I chose to go football and ended up going to a junior college out of Western. Redshirted a year. Ended up playing and starting for 2 years. I was a 2-year captain, won a national championship.
Wow.
My second year there, though, they started a wrestling team and didn't have a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So they looked at you.
Guess who was peeking in the windows? I was like, hey, you guys need me yet? Or, So like halfway through the season, football was over. They're like, hey, you want to come to practice and maybe wrestle for us? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had a decent wrestling time there, and then ended up getting a scholarship to go finish out football at Indiana University. So
Oh, sweet.
So then he went and played in the Big Ten. And for folks who
Okay.
don't know, Iowa Western's kind of a powerhouse in everything. Baseball,
Absolutely.
football. I would
Yep.
assume their wrestling team's fantastic.
Yep.
You know, you're kind of in a hotbed of wrestling. Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri even. So that's pretty cool that you got to be there at the start of the birth of a wrestling program like that.
Yeah.
Tell us about Indiana a little bit. You played 2 years there?
I did, yeah, and my gosh, it was probably one of the toughest times. Not only like academically, like the classes were huge and challenging, but then the football program was just so competitive, and they were always on you to do good, you know. So you just have to definitely bring it every day. But
so was it a huge difference from the junior college? You think just work-wise, like study-wise, or all of it? Because it was bigger. It's just everything is.
So Indiana was like a losing program when I was
Oh,
there.
they were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're okay. They have decent years. But so the coaches were a lot harder on the players, I feel, because their jobs were on the line every single year.
Yeah.
It's like, we need to start winning games or I'm going to start looking for a new job
Gotcha.
kind of thing. So Iowa Western, the coaches knew they were going to be there for a long time. And actually the head coach from Iowa Western is still there. And they just came off a national championship year this last year.
Okay.
And I think that really made the difference is, you know, the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I mean, you hear that all the time, and I'm sure with you interviewing people. I mean, and our kids have been in sports, and our daughter played D1 soccer at Colorado State. I mean, coaches make a huge difference.
Truly does.
Truly
does.
Yeah.
And that's no joke. It's called the coaching carousel. Every offseason, people getting fired, people getting hired, and it's no joke, especially in an uber competitive environment like the Big Ten. You know, people think of Indiana as just a basketball school. No, that football program brings in a lot of revenue. So it doesn't matter if you're a starting D lineman or a cornerback or a quarterback, you better be doing your job.
Right.
Or the coach is going to be looking for a new job this next cycle.
So you played though? There?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I
Okay.
wasn't a starter or anything, played some special teams, but
Yeah.
it was just a tough environment to really be able to open up and compete at your highest level. But
Yeah.
Do you feel it did you well in like other aspects of your life, going from, you know, Norfolk could be considered a bigger town for Nebraska maybe, but it's nothing like Bloomington, Indiana, you know, and being thrown in a class of 200 students or something like that at a Big Ten school. Was that kind of a shock for you at first? And, you know, did it maybe help you down the road?
So yeah, Bloomington, it's not much bigger than Norfolk really. It might be double the size.
It's a college town.
But then then it triples in size when college is in session. But it was beautiful out there, you know. It was beautiful trees and hills and little quarries and stuff. Yeah, I loved India.
That fit you pretty good then?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So then let's fast forward to where you're at. How did you get into mixed martial arts? Because where he really came up, and I think people started to take notice, you were on The Ultimate Fighter. And that's a really cool series, UFC series on ESPN.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people watch it. A lot of people get into it. And then for folks like my brother and stuff, who's this guy from Nebraska that's winning fights on The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
So
you're like, we're going to watch this now.
How did that happen where you went from college football to mixed martial arts and now you're at one of the highest stages?
Right. Yeah. You know, I had two older brothers that did some MMA at the amateur level. So I always knew about it and I played around with it, you know, training in garages and stuff. But I was always so busy with wrestling and football and then going off to college. But I always knew, like, hey, if wrestling doesn't work out, football doesn't work out, I'm going to do MMA. I'm going to try every resource I got here. And that's what I've been doing ever since, you know, I graduated from college, and it's been a heck of a life so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't even know enough about MMA. I just
you just see it on TV and stuff like that.
I just don't even know. Where do you even do you even call them matches? I sound so dumb. I mean, is it
matches?
What do you call them?
Bouts, whatever.
Okay. Like you just decide you're going to do it. You find a coach. Like, how is the whole, you know, process work? Is it you're at a gym, or do you have like team? There's no team. You're by yourself. Right? Like,
you have gyms, and that's considered your team and coaches and stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like with how Norfolk works and kind of Nebraska in general, unless you're in like Omaha and Lincoln, the gyms are pretty scarce and hard to come by, especially good training partners. But at the time, Norfolk did have a little MMA club called the Scrapyard. And, you know, I kind of would come in every now and then, but I was training hard in my garage. And when I'd show up to those practices, like, oh, man, these guys aren't worth my time. You know?
Okay, yeah.
I just came from college, and I was as big and as tough as I ever was, you know.
Yeah.
And that was just me being a big head. But ended up training there full time. But that gym closed after a couple years of training. And then I started going to Columbus to the bomb squad. And that gym ended up closing.
Oh, geez.
So somebody bought him out. One of the teammates from bomb squad bought him out and moved it to Dodge. And initially it started in his basement, just a couple of guys. I did my second pro fight, pro debut for LFA, training camp in his basement.
No way.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Like an unfinished basement?
Unfinished basement, concrete walls. And so to do wall work, we put a mattress against the wall. And he had
like Fight Club, man.
I love
it. Really
it.
was.
Yeah.
And so I'm a heavyweight, so I had to get, you know, one of my good buddies, Brandon Soul, to come train in this little basement with me. And just two giants going at it in a little 10 by 12 basement. It was just crazy.
And for folks that don't know, these are all Nebraska towns and not big towns either. So
Right.
you're not talking Columbus, Ohio. You're talking Columbus, Nebraska,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
When you say heavyweight, so what is that weight class then? And like, what's the difference?
Yeah, it goes to 206 to 265
Okay.
is the heavyweight limit, and it's got the biggest range in weight.
Yeah, that does seem like, so you could fight somebody that's
So
at 200 and something, and you, I mean, what do you weigh? Like, do you,
Yeah, so typically fight week, going into a fight, I'm about 245,
okay.
which is considered small for a heavyweight. And so I'm having guys that cut weight to 265, and then come fight day, because you weigh in the day before, they're back to 275, 280.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
I'm a little guy out there.
So do you, like, to me, you look like big
Yeah,
and
that's-
super fit.
That's a different world, right?
But I mean, do you plan to put on weight, or you like the size you're at, or what's the whole?
Yeah, no, I'm good with where I'm at
Okay.
weight wise. You know, my strength is good, my speed is good. You know, now it's just developing the skills. and
Okay.
stuff,
All right. So you can take those guys, like, they don't really intimidate you.
so. It's part of the job.
Okay,
I got to take those guys.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Well, let's talk about your latest bout, because you went to Madison Square Garden, New York. A lot of hoopla, a lot of media was there, and you still got a chance for the championship bout here. So, kind of tell us about that. You know, just I couldn't imagine performing at Madison Square Garden.
How many people are in there? Like
Be
thousands?
the halftime show of something like an expedition. I couldn't even pull that off.
No.
So you're in what's known as the PFL, not the UFC. So it's like, would you consider it like AAA, in like a baseball terminology?
No. I mean, yeah, the UFC's got this big
Yeah.
platform, but I mean, PFL is right underneath. They're
Oh,
doing a lot of big things. They just signed arguably the toughest heavyweight in the world, Francis Ngannou, and
Yeah.
they're partnering with the Logan Paul, and
Oh wow.
so they're doing huge things, and they're looking to buy out Bellator. So I mean, they're going to be super.
And you have cable TV pay-per-view contracts. We were just talking on the way out here how you were on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. So yeah, I mean PFL is there. And what is that? Professional Fighters League?
Yep,
right?
correct. Yeah.
All right, instead of Ultimate Fighter.
So to me,
Yeah,
it almost seems like there's two. Are they competing against each other?
Yeah,
For guys, for
Oh, the platform of
yeah,
how
the
the
platform.
PFL works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tournament style bracket, or
Okay.
however you want to say it. So there's 10 fighters, and you get 2 regular season fights. So everybody will fight twice at the heavyweight division. They do it in multiple weight classes,
Okay.
and then you earn points per fight. So if I get like a first round finish, it's 6 points in that first fight. In the second fight, I get 3-round decision, so I get 3 points. So I'm sitting at 9 points. And then the top 4 people go into the playoffs,
Okay.
which then determines the champion.
Oh, geez.
So this was like a semifinal playoff match, right?
Correct. Yep.
Bout.
Yep.
You know, I always feel like a lot of boxing terms spill over, you know, into MMA. You know, bout, fight, rounds, all that stuff. So that fight didn't quite go your way, but you're still in the mix, right? Like you're an alternate, and you're still in the league, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I must have made an impression with PFL. You know, they like me, that I'm marketable. So they invited me to be the alternate to the championship, which is a great opportunity for me, you know, especially if somebody ends up getting hurt during training camp and can't make it. Now I'm fighting for $1 million, which is life-changing, you know.
And when is this?
In November 24th.
Okay, so that's what you're currently training for now.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Will you do any other fights?
No, so I'm under contract now.
Okay, so that means you're just training for in case they need you.
Correct.
Gotcha.
I don't know. He's going to miss second weekend of deer season. I mean, if he gets called up. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Speaking of that, do you hunt?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah. So I work at a place called Cedar Valley Hunt Club, where Andy's dog is, and we train dogs. We guide hunts. This is my first, year there, and it's right up my alley as far as interests go. You know, I grew up pheasant hunting, and so this is awesome.
All right.
And that's kind of how I officially met Jordan. Was he is training my dog right now. He's got about 3 weeks left of training.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long has Kylo been there?
A little over a month.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Are you going to even know what to do with the dog when he
I'm going
comes
to take him
home?
hunting. I'm going to take him hunting as soon as he's going to get
So this
hunted
is
a
good
lot.
timing. In 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you plan it like that on purpose, Andy?
Yes. Mark called me earlier in the summer, and I was actually getting ready to talk to either Mark or one of Ben's guys about getting Kylo some actual training, because all I was doing was just the typical stuff in the backyard, you know, fetch, sit, stay, that type of stuff.
Right.
And I wanted him, we already made a pretty good investment because we bought him at Cedar Valley, you know, and great bloodlines. You don't want to let that just go to waste or just settle on him being a pet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they love doing that stuff, being out in the field. And that's why we got him. So I thought, let's have a professional do it. I kind of looked at it like I wouldn't try to fix my HVAC or my AC unit, you know.
Yeah.
Why would I try to, you know, train this professional athletic dog? So I wanted someone to help me out with that. And Mark actually just called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, your pup's about a year old. Would you want some training?" I'm like, yes, I do.
You're like, you read my mind.
He goes, "Well, if we get him in here in a few weeks, we can slide him in and have him ready to go by hunting season." I'm like, perfect. Let's do it. You know, he's like, "Well, do you want this program?" I'm like, what would you do for your dog? That's what I want. Whatever, you know. And so it just so happened that Jordan was you're the main trainer, right?
Yeah.
So he's with Kylo just about every day.
So how do you like Kylo? You can plug your ears, Andy.
Kylo's a good dog.
Turn off hold on. Let me get my headphones turned off here.
He brings Kylo out here. He's a good dog.
He's definitely a good dog. You know, he's got a lot of energy, and you can tell he loves to have a job and like chasing, fetching. So he's definitely gonna be a good hunting dog, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So it's going good.
It is going good, yeah.
So we were out there last week, and that was the second time he was with those dummies, you know, that were being shot and thrown out pretty good ways. Mm-hmm. And our camera guy, Garrett, he's filmed that type of stuff before, and he's been around those dogs. He's like, if that was his second time with that dummy launcher, he's doing pretty good. So I felt good about that after we hung out with you guys and saw that.
Okay.
So, it was just this machine that you put blanks in and you hit it and it launches this thing out.
And they're supposed to go retrieve it.
But then also retrieve it to us, not the guy that was shooting the blank.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, he had a lot going on, and like I was impressed with it, you know, and hearing that was only the second time out doing that. I mean, it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah.
And then he was really tough to walk on a leash. Like, I mean, to where only I could walk him around Beaver
Lake. The neighborhood.
Yeah. And Ashley wouldn't even try it. Ozzy and Kimber would be a train wreck. You'd just be dragging the kids down the road. And the first time, about a month ago, when we went and visited him, Ozzy went with us and he walked him. And there was lack, you know, in the leash and everything. It was phenomenal. I'm like, well, this is whatever the end bill is, it's already worth it. I don't care, you know?
Right.
And that's what Mark's about. He's like, first and foremost, they got to be a pet, right? Because you're only going to go hunting at most, 14 days out of the year. The rest of those days, he's a pet.
Yeah.
So he's got to be a good pet first. So I like that approach too.
Yeah. I just think that's pretty cool. You've only been there a year though. So then you had the training, obviously, from other people.
No,
to help.
Learning on the job.
You are. Okay, so
Mark and
everyone's,
Tracy. Yep.
I got you training you and you got training the dog.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and you had a relationship with Mark, right? When you talk about Mark and Tracy, these are the two of the best people on the planet.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely,
you can say that, and it gets kind of but when you're talking about these two, they really are. And you knew Mark through your wrestling, right?
Wrestling, yeah.
Because he's a coach.
Both helped coach Norfolk Public there, and and I always knew about his hunting thing, and he was always a big supporter of my fighting, and he sponsors me a bunch, and
that's awesome.
And last year when I did the show, I had to quit my full-time job, which I was a welder in a factory, and so I went and did the TV show, came home, and I was like, now what do I do?
Oh, shoot.
Because I was under contract till the end of the year, and I couldn't fight until the show was aired.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of started doing odd-end jobs, bartending, whatever I could do. So to find a job that's super supportive of what I do and like will work with my schedule, it's been
That's
a game
huge.
changer. Yeah, it absolutely. Yeah, it really
And
has been.
it sounds like you liked obviously being outside doing like this is
like yesterday, I worked in the morning and all I did was take dogs out hunting, dove hunting.
Oh wow, that and you got paid to do it.
I got paid to take dogs out hunting. It
It's
was
so unfair.
not a bad deal.
Andy, I think you need a new gig.
I know. I hate leaving. I hate leaving that place. I'm like, let's just stay here a little bit longer. Let's shoot the shit a little bit longer here.
Go.
I would think that it also is a perfect like 180 where everything's amped up, you know, when you're getting ready for a fight, when you're training and all that stuff. And then you just got to go out and be in the hills of northeast Nebraska with a hunting dog, you know, in the deer stand, whatever. Like it's just a complete 180 where you can just get away from the noise. I gotta think that's good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I would work out in the morning when I was just training full time. I'd work out in the morning and then I'd wait around till 7:00 at night. And what am I going to do? Sit on the couch, watch TV, do some chores around the house. But it ended up being worse for me because I was so relaxed on the couch. And then I'd go to practice, to the super intense practice, end up like straining my tricep, my back, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just was not a good deal. So I need, being busy is good for me, you know, so.
Yeah.
And that's a good busy, you know, walking dogs, taking them to this or that area of the farm or the ranch. What does Mark call it? Does he call it a farm or a ranch?
Oh, geez. I guess I don't even know. I think he does call it a farm, you know.
The farm.
Yeah.
How many dogs do you guys have at one time out there?
So we'll train 12 at a time.
Holy cow.
Then he has like 15 dogs of his own.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he does a lot of guiding hunts. So
Okay.
he has a lot of hunting dogs, and then he has a breeding program.
Okay. Have you guys filmed him on your channel there? Okay.
I think we got like 3 or 4 episodes.
Do you? Okay.
With Mark.
And that's how you met him.
And his dogs. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You know, when we first started, Mark was one of the first people and businesses to jump on board and support us and have us film a little commercial and do this and do that. And it really helped us get going. So,
okay. He does sound like a good guy.
He's fantastic. And he's genuine, you know. And then we have always kind of kept that relationship. And if we can schedule a hunt up there, we do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's part of having a dog. They die. You know, they pass away. And our hunting dog, Roscoe, passed away a year and a half, 2 years ago. So after, you know, the sorrow and all those emotions, you know, flood you and everything else, I always kept Cedar Valley and TLC, right? TLC Labs, in mind, because I thought short hairs are kind of amped up. They are crazy. Those dogs are crazy, and they're loving pets. They're great, but man, they're a lot. So I always thought, what if we just got one of Mark's labs? You know, you know.
Yeah.
And if that kind of their selling point is they're pointing labs. So
what do you mean?
They'll point at a pheasant for you,
much
like a short hair's kind of bred to do.
Okay.
So
and then they just wait, right?
Well, you can tell them to flush it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this upcoming upland season. But anyway, I followed Mark and TLC Kennels on social media, on Facebook, I think, and saw that they just had another litter when we were looking. And then I made the mistake. I let Ashley see some of these videos of the pups running around and playing with toys.
Yeah.
It was all over.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, of course you're getting a dog at that point.
Yeah. Yep. So we got a yellow lab. We named him Kylo, and him and Ozzy, they're best buds.
Oh, I bet Ozzy's missing him then.
He is.
Okay.
He is. He's really missing him. And it was kind of heartwarming or whatever, you know. But when Ozzy went out and helped with that first training session, Kylo wouldn't take his eyes off of Ozzy when he was out playing around. And Mark's like, man, I've never seen a dog so fixated on a kid like that, you know. And
really?
It was because they are.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You know, Kylo was super distracted by him.
Okay, so it was
his buddies
distracting
over
at
there
that point.
playing.
Mhm.
and-
Yeah.
But, you know, like you said, it's a cool moment that, you know, a dog is so
Into their human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know if Ozzy's the best influence on anybody. So, so that might make sense.
He's hilarious. As we're talking about all this stuff, I was thinking obviously of all your fighting and athletic and abilities. And you said your brothers, you had two.
Two older
So I want to
brothers, yeah.
ask, so like, were your parents super athletic or what? How was this like growing up?
Yeah, I mean,
It made me not to like shift gears, but my head was thinking, oh my God, there's got to be major athletic genes or what?
Yeah, on my dad's side, you know, he was a heck of a ball player,
Okay.
basketball and
Basketball.
football, but he ended up getting in a real bad accident on a motorcycle and messed his knee up and wasn't able to play his senior year of high school football. And he
Oh.
was probably looking at getting recruited out to some big schools, but didn't work out that way. But on my mom's side, got a couple D1 athletes.
Yeah.
So, and
Oh, wow.
definitely some big genes on both sides.
Okay. Did your siblings go and play sports anywhere in
Nope.
school? No.
Nope, I'm the only one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Usually guys like that out of Norfolk, they're going to Wayne State or something like that. You know, like they get locked up pretty quick.
Yeah, and I toured Wayne State a couple times, and
Yeah.
I was going to go there, but you know, I got the opportunity to go to Indiana, and
Mm-hmm.
ended up working out pretty good.
I think that Iowa Western is a gem too.
Oh man,
You know, like that campus is expanding. There's so much nice new stuff going on there, and they got top of the line coaching. Like you can get Stroman.
Yep. Coach Strohmeyer.
Yeah,
Yep.
Strohmeyer. Yeah, I mean he's got 5 national championships.
No,
4.
I think he's got 2.
Only 2. He's
Oh.
only got 2.
I was a part of one of those.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, there you
But
go.
I think he was a runner-up one year, and
Yeah.
then maybe a couple of years, but then he just came off of the one last year.
And it's not that old of a program.
No,
You know, it
no.
hasn't been around that long.
Really
So-
hasn't. Yeah.
And is he the only coach that they've ever had so
Yes.
far? I think
Yep.
so.
First and only. Yep.
Yeah, a little shout out there for Iowa Western.
Wait,
They
so
are the real
First
deal.
and only. How long has the program been around?
So it was on its second year, maybe second or third year when I went there, and that
Okay.
was back in 2010.
210. Okay, golf. So that is a long time for a coach to be there.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shoot.
No, he's got quite the tenure going on.
Yeah.
So we got to get back to Madison Square Garden. What was that like?
It was crazy.
The bright lights, the media leading up to it.
Right.
Golly.
How many
Absolutely.
people? How many
Oh.
people were there?
Oh man, I don't know. The place was packed. They're all screaming. It was a great atmosphere to fight in. And the PFL really does it good. You know, they put on a heck of a show. And so it was a great experience, you know, and the fight didn't go my way, but you know, I took a lot from that fight, you know, and as you should, but you know, I'm excited for the next opportunity and we'll see what happens.
Did it freak you out though a little bit? Like the nerves, did it feel different than any other fight because it was so big, or did you try to just calm yourself?
I do pretty well under the bright lights,
You do?
because
Good.
I've wrestled at state
Mhm.
in high school. I played
Mhm.
in the Big Ten.
Yep.
So it doesn't bother me that bad, but you know, it gets to you, you know.
Right.
You
little
wouldn't
bit.
be human if you didn't have a little
Exactly,
bit
you
of
know,
the
you just-
butterflies and stuff, right?
So how many are like, wait, do you say that in your corner? Or is that just
Yeah,
fighting?
like your coaches.
Yeah. So how many do you bring with you?
So I got 2 coaches I bring along, and then I usually bring one of my practice partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when you get like hit and cut up and stuff, are they really using Vaseline?
So there's a cut man that the promotion will bring in, and they'll
Like what are they
ice it
using?
down, and I don't know.
I
if they
always
put
wonder
Vaseline
what
in
they're
it.
using. Is this just the most random question you've ever
That's a good
got?
question because
I
I
always
don't
feel
know.
like they have this jar. It's like
Yeah,
I just always,
I'm assuming it's Vaseline as well, but I guess
you don't really know,
I don't
but it just stops the bleeding.
for the most part.
Okay.
And let's
for a little while.
let's the fist kind of slide off the face a little bit easier.
Okay.
Right? I don't know. I guess I don't know either.
I don't
you know?
either.
Well, that's why they put the Vaseline on you 1st
Mhm.
so it doesn't split so easy.
Oh, you have that on you first before
Yeah,
you start.
yeah, they'll
Just
do-
your face.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would think you mentioned it. Playing football in the Big Ten, so that means you played at Ohio State, the Horseshoe. You played at the Big House, over 100,000 at every home game at Michigan. That's got to
That's true.
prepare you a little bit for that type of a stage.
Yeah, I mean, performing in front of a crowd has never bothered me,
Mhm.
to that level. So it's definitely one of my attributes, I think.
Yeah. What do your parents think of it?
My mom asked me about every time, "Are you about done? Are you gonna quit?"
Oh,
I'm
that's such a mom
just a
thing.
little bit more. I'm
Yeah.
not quite done yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're just starting in my mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And like, my mom went to New York to watch this last fight, and she was like, "He'll see him again."
all
ain't
right.
over
There we
yet.
go,
So-
Mom.
Oh,
yeah.
so
I
she's
got her.
going
Yeah,
to-
yep.
There we
I
go.
got her going on this one.
So your family came. Your mom came.
Yeah, absolutely. I had
Siblings.
Oh, what a
had
cool
a
moment.
bunch of relatives
I
that came
bet.
and just kind of made a trip out of it, and it was pretty
How cool is
Yeah.
that? That is so sweet.
Got Mom in the corner now,
Yeah.
so that's got to be good.
So what do your shorts say, or what's on them?
Yeah, they provide them, and they just say PFL, my
Okay.
last name. I can put a couple sponsors on.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know if you had any big thing on your belt or what it looks like or represents you.
Glad you asked that because it was on the website, and I think Mark made the mention. Oh yeah, Thor, and this dude looks like Thor, you know. But then I saw your T-shirt. It said Viking. So what exactly is your logo or your marketing? Where are we at with that?
It's kind of up in the air because it's like you want to come up with a cool, catchy nickname, as a stage name or whatever. But nothing really rolls with my last name. I feel like so Jordan Thor Heiderman. I just feel like that doesn't sound that good.
Okay.
And nor do I think Viking sounds that good either. But that's like kind of my my marketing deal, like the modern day Viking or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I actually got the nickname from Juliana Pena, which is probably one of the best female UFC fighters right now. And when I was on the Ultimate Fighter, she was my coach, and she's like picking teams, and she's like, I want Thor, I want the Viking.
Oh,
I think that you should go with that.
Oh,
then.
I know, that's why I'm gonna let
Yeah.
it be.
Yeah.
That's how the good nicknames come.
Yeah.
go with Thor the Viking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just roll it into one.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
on
forget
board.
my last name. It's Jordan Thor Viking.
Right. Totally.
That's great. And then if Juliana is the one that gave you that name, just roll with it.
Absolutely.
What she says goes. Right.
So with that TV show, did you have to try out, or was that
So they kind of base off of like where you're at on the regional scene.
okay?
And I was doing well. Like I was one of the top prospects.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why they bring you in on the show. And
Okay.
usually the top 2 guys get UFC contracts.
Do they?
I was in the top 4.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. I just wondered how those, with shows and
Yeah.
how those things ever work out, if they called you or you found them and it was like an audition or
yeah, I mean,
it was kind of both.
yeah, it is. I found out the weight classes that they were doing that
Uh-huh.
year, and I was like, well, okay, let me reach out to my management team and see if we can get on this.
Right.
So that's what we did.
Sweet.
So as far as the professional thing goes, you're kind of in a wait and see type or wait and hold, because you're an alternate for the championships coming up here in November, and then you're still under contract though for 2 more fights within the next 12 months, or how does that work?
So I'm under contract till January.
Mm.
And now that they brought me in as the alternate for the championship, so now I'm tied up. But I can get invited back to the tournament next year. It's
Okay.
kind of how it works. And it hasn't been said because this year's tournament isn't over.
Right.
So
But you're kind of thinking, everything goes as kind of planned, you'll probably get invited back to the PFL tournament, right?
100%. Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're?
I mean, the fact that they want me as the champion, the alternate to the championship.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But you never know what can happen. You know?
Sure.
And
yeah.
When one door closes, many open up. So.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So are you planning on staying with Cedar Valley, keeping that gig going? Because I like I said, I just want to quit everything I'm doing.
I know. I can tell. Bye, Andy.
Yeah. Catch you later.
Yeah, absolutely. What I get from there is, security, because when I'm fighting and training, I don't know when my next paycheck's going to be, because I could fight once that year. I could fight 4 times that year. And so the money is kind of inconsistent, especially when you're at a coming in level as I am, just kind of really getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know. So having a job that's super flexible, but yet I'm still getting a paycheck, it's a good feeling, and it kind of relaxes things.
I bet. Yeah.
And I think it's a I mean, you're doing physical manual labor, but I still think it's a relaxing job, like a good job for that. And then, Mark being supportive and Tracy and all, that's pretty cool too. That I think a lot of people don't get at their job, regardless of what it is. I want to ask you this question because I'm very curious, because it's obviously a really good fit and you appreciate what you have right across the board. Let's say you get called up because so-and-so sprained an ankle and they don't want to fight in the championship. You win that, you win the $1 million. Would you still consider staying at Cedar Valley just because of everything that it's done for you? Not monetarily, but mentally, physically, all that type of stuff.
Absolutely. Like I said, staying busy is good for me. If I have free time, I end up not being that productive, which is unfortunate. But I'm definitely gonna maybe not as many hours as I do now.
Sure.
But definitely gonna keep working for Mark and Tracy there.
Well, you'd have a lot more engagements too. The PFL would want your time a little bit more, being the champion out.
Well, they probably would bust you out. You'd probably have to go move somewhere. No, you're like, oh crap.
I don't want to move, but
yeah. Like if you did move somewhere, would it be another state? Like, do you know?
No.
Okay.
I would probably move to Omaha just to be closer to my gym here, Skywalker 101.
Yeah.
I got a great team, a great coach here in Omaha. So,
I
definitely kind of keep it close.
But it's just not something you want to leave.
No, I don't. Yeah. I want to get out of Norfolk because Norfolk's growing too big. So.
Right. It's not like you want to go to another bigger city like Omaha. Yeah.
So there are a couple really good fighters, MMA fighters from Nebraska that are still getting after it. And Lionheart, he just won in the UFC. Do you know those guys? Do you have a relationship with those guys, or are they at Skywalker? Because I don't know.
Yeah, Anthony is at Skywalker.
Okay.
It's Omaha's his hometown, so Skywalker's his home gym. But for training camps, he'll go up to Denver and train at the Factory X there. So I've gotten many rounds in with him, and learned
cool.
Got a lot of knowledge from him. He's got over 50 fights, and he's just been around the business. He's doing big things, and he's definitely one to kind of soak up as much information as you can from. So he's definitely good to have in your corner.
Are those guys pretty good about sharing information, or is it all pretty like close lip? They don't really want to share their little secrets.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
They're all about
helping your
teammates get better to help them get better.
Gotcha.
Is the big thing.
Okay. Yeah. I like that then. Because you just never know. Sometimes people get really super cutthroat. Like, don't be asking me any questions. I'm not going to help you type of thing. Yeah.
The NSAA, governing body of high school sports, there's a number of week 0 games. And of course we did a few, we televised a couple. I was on the broadcast, but a couple of the coaches, all 4 coaches that I talked to that played week 0, they didn't let their film out.
Of course not, because they don't want things to get leaked or
what? They did
a
little handshake before the game, saying we don't want to give the week 1 opponent a hand up. Well, the week 1 opponent asked for the film, and they said no way. This is kind of how it all came out. You talk to this coach or that AD to get their side, whatever. But right away the NSA had to get involved and be like, oh, it's up to them. They don't have to give you the tape
Oh
and
my
this and that.
gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was a case where week one guys were saying, well, you got the advantage of getting a week under your belt. We should get the advantage of having a week of film on you, you know, and have it kind
Yeah.
of fare out that way. But that's kind of what you reminded me of.
Right. Well,
Reminded
but
me of
you
the-
saying that, do you watch film on?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
There's almost all the fights are on YouTube. You know,
Okay.
you can pretty much find them. But
Watch your opponents and.
yeah, absolutely. Film study.
So,
for
like,
sure.
what are you known for? Like, do people say like you're good at this?
Yeah. I mean, I like to say I'm well-rounded, so I can
Okay.
I can stand and punch and fight that way. But my wrestling defense, my wrestling offense is, you know, probably my strong suit.
Okay. Okay.
And you don't always see a lot of heavyweights that are good at that.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
that's
But why?
well, because they're heavyweights. They just want to stand there and trade
Yeah,
punches.
they don't like to move fast.
Yeah.
And that's another
Oh,
advantage of mine
duh.
is like my conditioning and my speed.
Yeah. I mean, you're built, but like you do look like you could be like super agile, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right.
where I mean, that's where your wrestling background comes in so
Absolutely,
huge. Your
yeah.
footwork and even being a defensive lineman at a Big Ten level, I think that gives you a leg up.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. On a lot of
So bad.
opponents that don't have that, you know, experience. So another question I had, you know, and we were talking about Anthony Smith there, and he helps out with Skywalker. Or is he just part of the gym? He's just one of the guys.
The two coaches at Skywalker, Danny and Scotty, they're
Mhm.
his original coaches from the get-go, you know.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so he went to Denver just to pursue tougher practice partners.
Sure.
But yeah, they brought me in for one of his training camps, and I haven't left. So.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's a Nebraska guy helping a Nebraska guy,
Yeah.
local guy.
Hmm.
You were telling the story of how you went to a small gym in Norfolk and that closed, and then you went to this one and that one ended up folding up. After your professional run, is it a thought of yours to maybe open a gym around Columbus, Nebraska, or Norfolk, to where guys in your situation or guys that just want to live in small town Nebraska or whatever have a gym to go to?
Yes, I've thought about it 100 billion
Mm-hmm.
times. But the commitment a head coach has,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, I know.
A lot.
They are so busy. Evenings, mornings, weekends,
Mhm.
Okay.
gone.
Yeah. So
Right.
it'd almost be easier to open the gym, hire some coaches, do it.
I would come in as like just an assistant coach. You know?
hmm
Yeah.
But you don't want to open
Oh yeah,
Thor Viking gyms.
I could, and I think it would go really well, especially in Norfolk. And it's something I'll still think about. We'll see what happens. I don't. My career yet could be short or it could be long. So,
Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen here in the future, but yeah, I've definitely thought about it.
Got plenty of time, right, to think about those things. For me, I love athletics, love sports and all that. So it was really cool how I kind of fell into broadcasting and was okay at it, to where they invited me back to do it some more. And it lets me, stay involved, but not be a coach,
Right,
not own a
right.
gym,
Hmm.
so I feel like I've really lucked out on that front. And I was just thinking, like, man, once that stuff gets in your blood, you kind of you don't want to get too far from it or leave it alone, Some
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, God, it seems like you're just like on the uptick, You
Oh,
have-
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got some time to go. So what do you
Yeah.
do for fun though?
Yeah. So just over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, we went to the lake and
Okay.
did all that. Had a picnic it's actually was my birthday on Sunday.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
All right.
Thank you. I got together with my family and just hung out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you date anybody or no?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend
Okay.
of 8 years and we live together and
Gotcha.
she's super supportive of what I do.
Okay. That
and,
was going to be my next question. How does she handle all of this?
she's actually more competitive than I am.
She is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So what does she play sports or, do any?
Yeah, she was a heck of an athlete, and she personal trained and owned Jazzercise for a while. And
Okay.
Our whole basement is a weight room, essentially.
I bet.
So
Oh,
we
wow.
had some personal training clients down there.
Okay.
She ran for a while, but
Yeah.
yeah. So she's definitely definitely a big supporter and into the fitness stuff.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure
is
you
huge.
always get the question, "Oh my God, 8 years. So when are you going to get married?" Is that not the question you always get?
Yeah.
Okay, so just
Absolutely.
so you know, when you get married, then the next question is going to be when are you going to have kids. Just so you know, that's just how this works. But
It is how it works.
always,
So.
and then you have one, and then they're going to say when's the other. It just never stops.
Never stops.
But that's good.
It's all fun.
Well, good.
Yeah, okay. Because I watched all your interviews and all the fun media stuff leading up to that fight in Madison Square Garden, and a gal that interviewed him on YouTube, the first thing she said was, "Oh my God, your eyes are so green, they match your shirt."
She did.
She said that was her first. Like she didn't even ask her. She just made that.
What did you do? Did it throw you off? Do you even remember her saying that?
Yeah, no, I do actually.
He goes, "Oh,
And,
thank you for noticing."
They walked me into this dark room, so I couldn't see nothing. And then there was this lighted up circle that I had to look into and blind myself, so I couldn't see nothing. But they could all see me apparently. And and she made that comment. I just thought it was funny.
That is
But I
funny.
was
She
thinking-
wasn't standing right there.
No,
Next
she was
to you?
behind a bunch of computer screens or something.
Oh, okay. I
So,
should watch
I was gonna
that.
ask, did your girlfriend? She probably doesn't care for that.
I haven't even seen that interview, so I don't think she's seen it.
I was just thinking, oh my God, she's kind of getting off track here right away.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. So is your social media presence like, do you feel like you have to do a lot with that now, or is that tough? Do you care?
Yeah.
How does that work with what you do?
Yeah, so with the show, The Ultimate Fighter,
Mm-hmm.
I tried being more vocal, like somebody I'm not. I'm not a vocal person. I like to be quiet. I like to watch and hang out.
Uh-huh.
So that definitely wasn't me. But now I'll make an effort to post because it's important. You got to tell your story and kind of show your background, and that's what people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something I struggle with, and I'm trying to get better at it. And
Yeah.
So I come do podcasts and cool stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, we struggle at that all the time. I
Yeah.
feel like with the business,
It's
just
such a weird balance.
It is.
When is enough? And with my show and other things that we do, I try to post whatever 4 times, 5 times a week, but then I'll end up going down a rabbit hole where I'm on Twitter or X now. It's like, oh my God, I just burned an hour. It's like, God, I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm just trying to post this, and this, or schedule stuff out. So it's just a weird balance, and you're told, you need to do it and there's merit to it and all this other stuff. But then I think, is there really, I mean, I have 2,000 followers.
I mean, I agree
what
with
does it
both,
do? What does it
but
do?
people want to know him, you know what I mean? And or
He's an
people want to
away
know.
dude.
Yeah. So
Well-
then they can be rooting for you and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
But
he's got a fan base.
Yes,
that
exactly.
But that throws a whole nother layer on it. You have a fan base that you feel you need to just keep feeding, because they want it, and it's like never enough. And I mean, I was kind of shocked when we were driving out here. We were talking about some other MMA fighters, and they're just making a mint off their YouTube channel, off their personal podcast. And you're like, oh, I didn't see that. I'm like, what?
But,
I probably get into it a little bit more than most, but I mean,
yeah, you're probably on YouTube a lot.
those dudes, I mean, some of those guys are cranking out 400,000 of views every little thing they put out. It's just crazy. It's amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, you could be there, especially
I tried.
Your story. I would just, when you're taking Kylo for a walk, just live stream that, man. I'll tune in. I want to see.
Oh my gosh. You're
right?
funny.
Yeah, I mean, but that is something different.
It is, and I'm the guy that wants to enjoy the moment, not capture the moment.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I've done so many cool things and done, seen a lot of things, but I just never catch the moment because I'm enjoying the moment.
I love that. No, I feel the same way with people at baseball games, at concerts. They're on their freaking cell phones. Like, no. There's professionals that are filming this. If you want to go back and watch it again, you can on a professional level. It's really good. You and your iPhone, you're not going to get it. You're not going to capture it as well as what you could go back and watch. So just enjoy the goddamn moment.
I know.
Right?
But are they? So they filmed the whole concert on her cell phone. Are they going to go back and watch it?
Yeah,
though? Are they
probably
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, yeah, not on your cell phone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
exactly.
garbage, you know?
And just a funny story. While I was in New York, they wanted to do some filming just to kind of promote the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to go see the Statue of Liberty, and we did a boat tour.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a camera crew following me around, and there were some people there that seen me talking in front of the camera and stuff. And so at the end of the tour, they were waiting with their phones, like trying to catch a video of me. And I'm like, you even know my name? You have no idea who I am.
Right, but
That's
they just
hilarious.
knew
Yeah,
you were
you gotta be
somebody.
famous,
You
yeah.
gotta be somebody.
Well, they're right.
Yeah. So,
Half a star.
so
half
did
a
they
star.
know who
Yeah.
you were? Did you?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't stop and talk to them.
Oh, I thought maybe you did. Oh, that's funny.
Well, we're rolling up on about an hour here.
Oh, gosh,
we
really?
have
I can't
40,
see it from here.
50 minutes.
Yeah, shoot.
We have a tradition here. Should we bust it out?
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of a curveball, but we added to it because of your day job, or one of your day jobs here. Ben had this all made. He's a master.
Yeah.
He's a marketing mastermind.
I guess that's what you would say.
This table is also a speakeasy. And what we usually do is we have a shot with all of our guests, and we always like to feature another Nebraska brand, Cooper's Chase Vodka out there in West Point. Doug Trainer, if you ever met him, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
He's so funny.
And his distillery is right there in West Point. He uses the grains from the Beamer elevator there in Nebraska to make his vodka and bourbon. We ran out of his bourbon. So,
Yeah.
in honor of having the professional dog trainer here,
You got a good one.
we got Bird Dog.
Hey, I'm gonna have to do that one, I guess.
You want to try that one?
That's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
So,
Well, you got to open it though.
I got a blade here.
Okay.
Let's see what we can do. I should just have him do it.
Yeah.
He's a big. Yeah, you open it.
Just
You're a big
pop it
tough
off.
guy. Yeah.
And I'm gonna look like a sissy because I can't.
No.
Let me get the camera rolling. Yeah, that looked pretty easy there.
Yeah,
didn't it?
you didn't need your knife.
There we go.
All right, I'm gonna
There
try
you
the
go.
bird dog
Ooh,
too.
I can smell it.
I want the Bird Dog.
I've never had it. Have you had bird dog before?
I don't think I have.
What would be your choice of liquor? Like if you go somewhere, you're drinking a Coors now, so you'll have a beer, but
Yeah.
do you
for
like
sure.
hard liquor too then?
I do. I'm definitely a whiskey guy.
Okay.
I'll do like Makers or
All right.
Yeah.
Jack or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I got this for Christmas one year, and it's all gone. So. yeah, I
So
got another
you
one.
thought you'd get it again?
Yeah. Get
It
another
is a good idea though, because I mean he is training your dog.
one. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm on board.
okay.
All right.
Ooh, I can smell that peach.
Yeah.
A lot of times I pass, but I'm feeling good about
Bird
this one.
Dog peach flavored whiskey. All right. What's the toast to?
To
PFL championship?
yeah,
Hey.
All right,
to
there
the
we
future.
go. Jordan
to the
Heiderman.
future.
Here we go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty kind of sweet, isn't it?
Actually, that's really sweet. Have you had that before?
No.
And I'm not a
It's got a
huge
heck of a
whiskey
bite at the
person,
end.
but yeah, I do feel it
does.
a little bit burning,
Yeah.
burning my throat.
The aftertaste is a little bit different than
It's heavy.
the first hit there.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
That would definitely be good on some rocks or something. Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
feel
I'm
like it
thinking.
does need to be cold for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got a shirt for you too.
Sweet.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
There
That
we go.
one that Andy's wearing. A
The
nice
Common Folk
common folk podcast
podcast.
shirt. So
All right.
yeah, this was nice. This
Yeah,
was
it was
fun to
fun.
meet you.
This was
When Andy
good.
said your name and what you were doing, I'm like, oh gosh, this is exciting.
Well,
I don't know enough about fighting, so
Well, and how Ben always likes to frame it, and what he's big after with this podcast is getting common folk, everyday people
Yeah.
in and around, Nebraska, but Midwest here that are doing really cool shit.
and that's
here
you.
here we go. We got a guy from Norfolk, Nebraska that's fighting mixed martial arts at the highest level, and he's also a dog trainer
bird
by day.
dog.
Yeah, he's guiding hunts by day. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I wish when I grow up I would want to be Jordan. That's what I want to do.
Right, right. There you go.
So with that, we had our toast, we had our drink. Jordan, thank you so much for hopping
Oh
on
my
with
gosh,
us.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, I
This
appreciate
was
it,
awesome.
guys.
All righty.
All right, we'll see ya.
Later.
Peace.